Hello, everyone. This is the Flagler Weather Info. Weather for the week ahead. And good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be talking about the weather for this weekend, the rest of the weekend, and, well, talking about what's going to be expected next week. So we're going to start, turn on the radio. We're going to start with the satellite imagery here. And you notice, see these little lines? And that's kind of where the wind's blowing. So the wind is coming onshore down here in South Florida. That's kind of going around the edge of the high pressure ridge, and the wind is coming out of the southwest to the northeast up by us, which is pushing all these puffy clouds towards the coast. And that's going to bring with it a very slight chance of the odd shower storm. See this boundary over here? That's the Gulf Coast sea breeze starting to make its way towards us. So when that Gulf Coast sea breeze makes its way across the state of Florida and gets towards the east coast, there might be just enough moisture and lift to maybe kick off a few showers or maybe the odd thunderstorm this afternoon. Right now, all the lightning is out here in the Gulf of Mexico. We don't see anything else. We don't see any lightning over the state of Florida right now. But, this is just for right now. Let's go ahead and talk about what's happening and what to expect in the future. So this is the way the map stands right now. We do have, see this little dashed line. It's kind of like a little upper level disturbance. It's moving across the state of Florida. There's a front to the north of us. Sunday, that front gets a little bit closer to us. Lots of moisture and everything getting pulled up by low pressure to the north of us, pulling some deep tropical moisture along with that disturbance through the area on Sunday. So the rain chances on Sunday are going to be a little higher. And as we get into Monday, that front kind of dips to the south a little bit. We get a little bit of cooler air, a little bit of a dry spell, and then we'll be watching as this another front approaches. So let's go ahead and talk about what concerns the National Weather Service has right now, taking a look at their hazards. So elevated wildfire conditions continue. Now, I just want to point out that this does not necessarily apply to Flagler County. This is more focused at inland locations, and I'm going to show you why that is here in just a few minutes. But we still have the risk of, very hit or miss showers, maybe the odd thunderstorm, and we have a moderate rip current risk at the beaches, and that is a concern for us right there. And, of course, we're not really dealing with wildfire smoke, and again, we're not going to go through all that. There is going to be some radar outages at Jacksonville, and that is due to some work that they're doing. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. And notice Flagler County is like in this little orange spot right here because we had that rain in that nor'easter the other day that has actually kind of helped us stay out of trouble with the wildfire. So, that places us in severe drought. We were under extreme drought, but that got knocked back a little bit. So let me explain the drought, though. Drought versus how dry it really is. Drought is basically a measure of how much rainfall you've had over like months and months and months and months. You can sometimes get some good heavy rain and wet things up a little bit, make the soil moist. You can do that and still technically have a drought. That's what this represents. All the big fires have not been in Flagler County, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So I know there's some concerns about it, and always use caution with any ignition source outside, by all means. However, you just want to keep things in perspective here, that we are not as bad as many of the other counties are. So let's talk about those rain chances. For today, right now, about a 20% chance of the odd shower or thunderstorm, maybe a little bit better chance down here, like in the southern part of the county, Cody's Corner, Mondex, Andalusia, maybe about a 30% chance of a shower or storm. That's still pretty low. And then about a 20% chance as you get towards the coast. Again, up by Marineland is where the less chances are, and chances increase a little bit down towards Flagler Beach. Again, very minimal chances, but that means there could be one or two showers or storms out there this afternoon. For tonight, those rain chances taper off, but lingering along the coast there as those showers and storms, any that do manage to form, pull off to the east. Now, I've been looking at some of the models. There's a couple models that do suggest a few showers and storms will push through, 3, 4, 5 o'clock today, but they'll be very brief in duration. There's a few models that do not pick them up at all. So we'll keep an eye on that. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a different story. We're getting rain chances approaching 40 to 50%. Better chances west of US 1. A little bit less of a chance towards the coast, but better rain chances overall on Sunday for Flagler County. So we could use the rain. We can do without the lightning, however, and this may come with some thunderstorms, so we'll have to watch that. Tomorrow night, those rain chances stay with us. It's about 20-25% chance as activity winds down. When we get to Monday, we still have maybe a 20% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm, pretty low chance. We dry out Monday night. Then Tuesday, we're dry. We're pretty much dry until we get to Thursday. Then we get back to another chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm as another front approaches. But then as we go into Thursday night and into Friday, those rain chances stay with us. Again, this is talking 7 days out. So these rain chances might get reduced or bumped up as the forecast gets more fine-tuned. How about temperatures? How are we going to do with that? So let's take a look at temperatures now. So high temperatures today, right near 87 along the US 1 FEC corridor. So Palm Coast about 85. Marineland's just got to get to 79. I just looked a little bit ago. They were at 78 right now, so they're right about their high temperature. The beaches just staying in the 70s. That sea breeze coming in, that ocean temperature is about 74 degrees. So that cooler air coming in, keeping the coast a little cooler. But that sea breeze is also one of those ignition points that could kick off a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm this afternoon. But again, very few and far between. Tonight, expected low temperatures generally in the 60s. Kind of cool out there, especially inland. Warmer at the beaches. Again, that ocean temperature about 73, 74 degrees will keep the beaches a little warmer. Tomorrow, we warm up right about the same as we were today. Maybe just a tiny bit warmer, near 80 at the beach. Mid upper 80s inland, maybe flirting with 90 in the inland parts of Flagler County. And then as we get into Sunday night, Monday morning, back down in the 60s. Going through the rest of the week. Now, Monday we cool down a little bit. Highs in the 70s, suggest near 80. As that front dips down here and knocks those temperatures down just a little bit. So expect to cool down as we get into Monday. And then into Tuesday, again, we're getting back up into the 80s. Those temperatures start to recover. And also, let me go back here a little bit. Look at Monday night temperatures. Again, in the 60s. We're not looking at any dramatic drop-offs in temperatures. So as we go through the rest of the week, as we get to Wednesday, we're again flirting with 90 now. It's getting quite warm out there. But lows in the 60s. So quite a contrast in your day and nighttime temperatures. And then as we get to Thursday, again, getting near 90. Then down in the 60s again. And then, again, near 90 on Friday. Then down in the 60s again. How about wind? Are we going to see any gusty winds expected the next few days? Let's take a look at that right now. So, and taking a look at this, we don't really see any significant windy days coming up through the next 7 days. But let's go back to precipitation. We're going to see how much rain we're expected to get. Through the next 7 days, maybe up to a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. So we're not really talking about a lot of rain at this point in time. We could definitely use more, even though we had up to 4 inches of rain, better than that in a few places with that nor'easter we had a few weeks ago. We definitely could use more of the rain. So what are the chances of that in the long range? Let's get into this. So this is your April 30th through May 4th. This is taking us into the beginning part of May. And right now we're looking at temperatures averaging right about normal, but some below normal temperatures may be creeping into the picture. So there is chances of temperatures dipping below normal as we go into the beginning part of May. How about precipitation chances? Well, this is good news. We're looking at above normal precipitation chances into that first week of May. So it might rain on somebody's parade, but we could use that rain. So let's go further into the future. This takes us May 2nd to May 8th. And again, those cooler than normal temperatures just approaching the area here. So again, it might be a little bit of a cool start to the month of May. Well, I'm sure it'll be different at the end of it. But precipitation chances, again, above normal as we go into the first week of May rather. So definitely some changes on the horizon based on looking at the long-range information from the Climate Prediction Center. Okay, let's talk wildfires because this is something that I know a lot of people have been concerned with here. So this is the latest wildfire map as of right now. So the only working fire we have in Flagler County is this one right here, and it's fully contained. It's only 28 acres. There's not been any change into the status of this. This was last updated on the 18th, so they're pretty confident that this one's done. So this one's contained. This is up in this is up in Flagler Estates, which is way up here in the northwest part of the county, and it's not a concern for anyone else. Very small, 28 acres, and again, 100% contained. So we don't have any other fires in Flagler County of concern right now. So that's definitely some good news. Now, over here in Putnam County, it's been all over the news and such. There's several wildfires going on here. Of course, the big one is the railroad complex fire, which is close to 5,000 acres. And that was brought on by a CSX coal train that was going back north from the power plant over there, and it had something on it that was causing some sparks and lit the fire off. That one's only 65% contained. Very far away from us, no concern. But you notice here the difference. Flagler County only has this one. St. John's doesn't have any, but Putnam's got a few. And as you go inland, you notice you see a lot more. And that's because the fire conditions are a lot different, even just next door, than they are here. And how do we know that? We go to the drought index here with the Florida Forest Service. And look at Flagler County in the blue, and everyone else is in yellows and reds. So we are averaging between 300 and 400 on our drought index. So what is the drought index? Basically, when you're over 500 is when you start having serious problems. So Volusia's there, St. John's is there, Putnam's worse. And, of course, it's really bad in the Big Bend region of Florida and up the Swanee River Valley. But right where we are, we're not in too bad a shape. Now, does that mean you can be careless? Absolutely not. You can still get brush fires. However, they are far more manageable due to the ground conditions and the atmospheric conditions that exist right now. So we're not in too bad a shape as far as that is concerned here in Flagler County. Again, you can still get brush fires, but they're more manageable and they're least likely to go crazy, because our soil conditions are still somewhat moist compared to everybody else. So that's why you might see all this stuff about drought and everything else. But the reality on the ground is right now it's not that bad. It can get worse if we don't get rainfall, but right now we're in pretty decent shape. But we'll be monitoring that, because if we don't get appreciative rainfall in the next few weeks, then we could be getting into trouble with wildfires. But right now, we're in pretty good shape with that. Let's take a look as we wrap up here. Taking a look at current radar right now and looking over the central Florida area up by us. There's no precipitation building at this point, and this is as of 1:30 in the afternoon here, but you can see showers and thunderstorms out over the Gulf and out over the Panhandle, and the activity that's causing this will eventually come our way, but probably a lot later. So right now, looking pretty dry out there, but again, some of the models are showing up a few pop-up showers or storms that could light up and move across the county. Any of those, if they even form at all, will be very few and far between. So to wrap things up, things look to stay, even though there's a chance of a shower or storm, things look to stay dry overall. There's a better chance of showers and storms on Sunday, where that looks like our best chance of rain, at least for the next several days. Wildfire concerns, we're at moderate fire danger. We're not in extreme range at all. So that means we're not in too bad shape, but do use caution with any ignition source outside. No large-scale storm systems seen. Overall, again, on the average, expect generally settled conditions. Again, you might get that odd shower or thunderstorm today. Better chance on Sunday. And then into the week ahead, temperatures averaging maybe 1 or 2 cooler days, but temperatures peaking in the 80s, lows in the 60s. And a couple days there will be that chance of a shower or maybe a thunderstorm. Everybody out there, have a great week ahead. Have a great weekend. If you're going to the beaches, please be careful. Rip current risk is moderate. Surf temperature 73 degrees. Surf running between 2 to 3 feet, sometimes 3 to 5 feet. Everybody out there, have a great rest of the weekend and a great week ahead. Thank you for watching.